How's everybody doing today, YouTube? Hope everybody's doing nice. Cold. Seems like more snow coming up here in New York. Winter ain't over yet. Spring starts in a couple of weeks. Welcome to my channel, Content Analysis 2750, with the little puppy dog as my profile picture. Today we're going to talk about something that's just start going on and about to happen. Our quote for the day is, mostly it is laws which teaches us about the worth of things. That's a nice statement, because it's through laws that we either going to continue going on the path we're going on, or we're going to give up. So when we set up laws, we really see, is it worth it? You set up laws in your relationship, you want to see if it's really worth it. You keep going on. You set up laws playing sports. You want to see if you want to keep going on. Is it worth it? You begin to really contemplate in your mind, is something worth it when you take a loss. And I don't think it's no loss that's more painful and makes you think about the worth it of it than a loss that happens in front of a whole lot of people. If a loss happens just between you and somebody else, I mean, considering if it's worth it or not, it's not so strong a thing. It's, a lot of times you make a on-the-spot decision following that loss. But when there's a lot of people involved and you're trying to do something and you're on your way to some place like achieving a goal or heading towards success, you really got to contemplate the worth of it, the worth of things to come that hasn't come yet, because you're going down the road to success, I hope. To failure, hey man, the only loss to failure could be a win. But anyway, we remember 1 year ago during the Oscars, there was a loss. Chris Rock took a big loss in front of millions of people, in front of thousands of people sitting in the audience, and millions of people around the world watching the Oscars. Made a little joke about Jada Pinkett, and Will decided, man, that's my wife, or that's about to be my ex-wife, or whatever problems he was going through, and walked up to the stage and smacked flames out of poor Chris Rock. Now, you see them two black brothers, so black people would figure, what? That's a fight. A lot of people say if somebody smacked them, they're going to kill him. I'd rather you punch me in my face than smack me. Nigga smack me, I got to kill him because I ain't no biatch. You know what I mean? Smacking a nigga like, that's the worst thing you could ever do. So a lot of people, once that smack happened, were braced for what Chris Rock would have done. And all Chris Rock did was got back on that mic and said, I've just been smacked by Will Smith. And Will Smith said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. So after the smack, Will Smith can't go to the Oscars for a decade, and realizing that his career was actually on the line, because once again, when somebody else controls the direction of your life or the level of your success, you have to be humble with them, or they will put you back where you were at the beginning, in the projects, in that simple little house your mother had. They will take everything from you if you dare to raise up and point your chest at you. You know, they try to always use that 48 laws about never try to outshine the master. The master is the guy with the purse. So Will Smith realized at that point that his career was in jeopardy. Maybe he figured if Chris Rock would have fought back, then both of them be like in jeopardy because the white man would say, well, why did you decide to strike back? You should have been more professional. We understand that smack might have hurt, but you should have held it down, guy. I'm sorry, but you can't penalize one and not the other. You had options. So Will Smith didn't have that buddy system going on at that time when them people decided that there has to be consequences for his actions. So Will Smith began to go on different shows, different forums, talk about the incident, and even cry. I guess, like when you cry, people start feeling more sad for you. Like you really realize you fucked up. If you don't cry, you got to tell yourself, yeah, man, I smacked the shit out of him. He got on my wife, Jada. Jada's going through her thing. Her head, she lost her head because of the condition she has. And, I didn't feel that was appropriate for him to do that. And he's just standing on it. Then you're showing no remorse. You're showing that you feel good about the act you did. Will Smith had to play the part now, the humblest part that he could play. So he cried. He reached out to Chris Rock. Chris Rock intercepted his apology. The whole world was going crazy. Some people saying what they would have done. They made the rap record. One of them made a rap record said, if he was Will, he would have hit him with the stick. You know what I mean? Shot him. Always want to shoot somebody. So they tried to get Chris Rock to talk about the impact it had on him being smacked. Man, he smacked the shit out of him. He smacked flames out of him. Being smacked on national TV with millions viewing and in front of thousands of people. Chris Rock was in a depression mode. Him and Will Smith been friends, They was on, he made a guest appearance on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all that, They were buddies. How Will end up smacking flames out of him for him to make a simple joke regarding Jada Pinkett is beyond me, and it's beyond a lot of other people. And they wanted Chris Rock to talk about it. Chris Rock didn't want to talk about it. It's been a year now. It's been a whole year now. But Chris Rock, I forgot to say this, Chris Rock's later on, it may be 6 months down the line, people still trying to get Chris Rock to talk about it. Chris Rock said he will talk about it long as it's worth it. See the loss. When you catch the loss, let's go back. Let's go back. Mostly it is laws which teach you the worth of things. So Chris Rock began to say, maybe 6 months, 8 months down the line, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it. But it's got to be worth it to me. He's seen that him sharing the impact that smack had on him during the Oscars is worth something. So he said, I will do it, but that money's got to be right for me to stand up and talk about it. He didn't say whether it be in an interview or whether it be during comedy act or anything like that. So now, the Oscars is coming up again. The Oscars are weeks away. The Oscars are ready to air again. Who's going to be on it? Who's going to host it? I don't know yet. I didn't get that far into it yet. But it's coming again. So to prepare people to watch the Oscars, no telling what's going to happen. Last time, boy, they got the most exciting part of the show. Will Smith smacking flames out of Chris Rock. So remember what I said. Chris Rock said, if it's worth it, if that money is right, I will talk about it. Now, here's Chris Rock. Chris Rock just recently did a show. Netflix decided to pay Chris Rock to do a comedian show on their channel for $40 million. Chris Rock said, if you show me the money, and that money right, I'll do it. Netflix decided to give Chris Rock $40 million to do a stand-up comedy show on their channel and talk about being smacked by Will Smith. I don't want to put no snippet in because it's some people like the news stuff and all that. And last time they gave me a copyright claim and they, I cut it off. I don't want to go through that with YouTube. So he said, people asked him, did that smack hurt? He said that smack hurt so much he hears summertime in his ears. He said he watched the movie that Will Smith put out just to see Will Smith get beat up. He said Jada Pinkett started the whole thing because he didn't have nothing to do with their relationship or nothing like that. So he said Jada Pinkett started the whole thing. Chris Rock speaks out on Oscar slap in live Netflix special. I've seen some of it. It ain't too funny, but I guess the people were dying to see what he say. Chris Rock slapped back at Will Smith, Jada Pinkett's big in Netflix special. Chris Rock to address Will Smith's slap in live Netflix special. Chris Rock got $40 million to get on stage and make fun of himself being smacked by Will Smith. I guess now he'll start doing interviews. But the ironic thing about this is this aired before the Oscars, which is soon to come back up. So this is well planned to get the people thinking about the Oscars. Netflix planned this very well. Get Chris Rock to talk about being slapped. by Will Smith. Something that everybody wanted to hear his take on. And prepare these people's minds subliminally towards the Oscars. Now in the Oscars, they didn't like the idea that somebody attacked somebody at their little venue. So now they said they're going to have a crisis intervention team this year at the Oscars. We could only imagine what that could be. Maybe it's going to be people with guns, you know what I mean? Armed security type thing. Maybe people are going to be standing behind the stage, backstage, in front of the stage. If anybody look like they're going to do something, they're going to tackle them. They don't want this to happen again. That's the way people in power in this entertainment industry see things happening and prepare so that they can minimize the chances of it happening again. The way Netflix paid Chris Rock to do this show now, because that's all you're going to start talking about. Yeah, he smacked them in the Oscars, the Oscars, the Oscars, the Oscars. Then you're going to start seeing the commercials for the upcoming Oscars. Then you're going to start seeing the news talking about who's going to win the Oscars. The Oscars. So the Oscars is going to be on your mind, which is going to solidify a lot of views for them this year. Maybe the views from last year going to be double this year, because a lot of people like that drama stuff, and they're going to be looking to see if somebody's going to smack somebody or somebody's going to verbally attack somebody during the performance this year. Smart people. They're not dumb. We are the ones who get programmed by the moves that they make. We are the one that fills their pockets by the strategic things they do to move us toward the goal. Isn't that amazing, people? What do y'all think about it? Please subscribe to my channel. My views are going up, thank God. I appreciate y'all so much. But I need my subscriptions to go up, because until I get like 2,000 subscribers, I'm not even going to go live. I'm going to just keep doing these videos and be satisfied with that. I don't make no money off of this. Content analysis, just trying to bring you different perspective of the things we see, the things we hear, and the things I read. Y'all have a nice night, and thanks for watching.